Good afternoon, everyone. It is great to be here in person celebrating this great event. I'm Fiona Wilson, and I'm UNH's Deputy Chief Sustainability Officer and the Director of our Sustainability Institute. I'm also a proud affiliate faculty member at UNH's Paul College of Business and Economics. Today, we are celebrating two of UNH's annual signature events, the New Hampshire Social Venture Innovation Challenge, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, as well as UNH's Social Innovator of the Year Award. These events are really special to us because they really embody our mission as the state's flagship public university and as a land, sea, and space grant institution focused for the last 150 years on the public good. Locally, nationally, and globally, you don't need me to tell you this, but the last few years have been tough. The events have shed even greater light on some of the major sustainability challenges facing our world. The climate crisis and all of the related consequences, racial inequity and injustice, economic challenges, challenges to democracy, and of course the ongoing COVID health pandemic are just a few examples of those big sustainability challenges we collectively face. At UNH, we intentionally engage and support a wide variety of what we call changemakers, a special group of our fellow humans who are those who are motivated to really disrupt the underlying structural conditions and help contribute effective solutions to these challenges both here and around the world to advance a sustainable future. And certainly, those of you who are students, Generation Z, we know you place a high priority on careers which will allow you to do the work that has a positive impact on society. And we know that you see yourselves as future leaders who can tackle some of these challenges. And so, not surprisingly, you're demanding a different kind of education, an education that's more experiential, that really aligns with your sustainability values and helps you build both the skill and the will to work on structural change to a sustainable future. So this is one of the reasons why we're so dedicated to the work of the UNH Changemaker Collaborative. The Changemaker Collaborative is housed at the UNH Sustainability Institute, but is also a partnership with the Paul College of Business and Economics and the Carsey School of Public Policy. It brings together students from all colleges and majors, together with faculty and staff, and then also our community members, for-profits, non-profits, and government agencies, all committed to advancing positive change. And it's really here that the next generation of ambitious, daring, and empathetic leaders are supported through transformative real-world experiences, while we also help provide our community partners with critical capacity to help them advance their sustainability initiatives. A key part of today's event is to hear from and honor and award UNH's annual Social Innovator of the Year. This award recognizes leaders with a demonstrated commitment to combining the passion and purpose of a social or environmental mission with the rigor of a financially sustainable, scalable model for change. Over the years, we have honored some incredible leaders, some of whom are with us today. On a very sad note, I also wanted just to take a moment to remember and pay tribute to one of our past Social Innovators of the Year who passed away a few weeks ago, suddenly and unexpectedly. A visionary entrepreneur, leader, and changemaker, Alan Lewis, who we honored in 2019, along with his business partner and wife of 50 years, Harriet Lewis. Alan and Harriet have been wonderful partners and friends to the UNH Sustainability Institute. When Alan spoke here in 2019, he encouraged students and all of us to harness our power as changemakers. And that's really how we are choosing to remember Alan as somebody who was uniquely passionate and energetic believer in the power of individual human potential, in the importance of being courageous and bold, in the need to triumph over adversity, and in the ability to imagine and create positive change that we so desperately need. So even though it feels like we've been robbed of Alan's presence on this earth many, many years too early, we know that his creativity and energy and vision will live on through so many of us. So just a moment of silence to honor Alan Lewis. Thank you. So on a much more positive note, it's very fitting today that we are honoring Alex Freid, class of 2013, with our 2022 Social Innovator of the Year award. To introduce Alex and help me present Alex with his award, I'm delighted to welcome to the stage Michelle Dillon, Dean of UNH's College of Liberal Arts. Michelle, please come on up.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Fiona. I'm delighted to be here, and it's always a great pleasure to interact with the Sustainability Institute and the Changemaker Collaborative and all the amazing work that they do on such an ongoing basis. So it's a real honor for me to be here. In the College of Liberal Arts, sustainability is integrated with all that we do. And so I was very pleased last year that we were able to launch the Global Racial and Social Inequality Lab. It brings together the very disciplinary and interdisciplinary ways in which our students, faculty, and staff have long engaged with themes of inequality, while also recognizing the urgency of galvanizing further work in building sustainable, inclusive community, locally, nationally, and globally. I'm thrilled to help present Alex with this award. It's one of UNH's highest honors. Alex is today joining the ranks of a very distinguished group of individuals. And additionally, he has the honor of being the youngest ever Social Innovator of the Year at our university. He may be the youngest, but it is particularly fitting and meaningful that he has been honored, because this year we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of this wonderful program and the 10th anniversary of UNH's Social Venture Innovation Challenge. So well-deserved congratulations to all, and in particular to Tom and to Fiona for all the amazing work that they have done and continue to do. In 2013, as Alex was about to graduate from UNH with a degree in political science and philosophy, he entered the very first Social Venture Innovation Challenge. He had a bold idea to take a fledgling program that he had started as a student while here at UNH and scale it nationally to universities all over the country. The judges were deeply impressed with both his passion and his vision, not to mention his courage. Not many undergraduates are brave enough to tell their family that rather than planning to get a stable, well-paid job at a large organization, they are planning to start a new organization from scratch with no assurance of salary or benefits and with only a few $1,000s of prize money behind them. But Alex did just that, and he did it at a time when the whole vocabulary of startup was still in a very fledgling state. He used the prize money from the SVIC, along with the support from some forward-thinking donors, to help him start a non-profit organization, the Post-Landfill Action Network, also known as PLAN. He has since grown PLAN to a staff of more than 10 across the country and a multi-million-dollar annual operating budget. More importantly, over the last decade, Alex's leadership has demonstrated and achieved the promise of social innovation. He has taken a fledgling entrepreneurial idea for systemic change and pursued his idea with passion, hard work, perseverance, flexibility, and creativity. As you will hear in Alex's keynote speech, with determination, he was able to assemble the resources he needed by sharing a compelling vision that others want to be part of. And he has truly created positive impact and on a national scale, as I already mentioned. I would be remiss as Dean of the College of Liberal Arts if I did not point out that Alex is not the only COLA graduate to receive this wonderful honours. Others include Clara Miller, Art History class of 1972, and Anne Finucane, class of 1974, who majored in English. There are countless other liberal arts graduates whom I meet on a regular basis who are leaders in the field of sustainability. And I'm also pleased to note that COLA students are the largest group of UNH students to participate in the Changemaker Collaboratives programs. This is no surprise to me personally, nor to our faculty. Our college's motto is where passion meets purpose. And when you tether passion and purpose to the freedom of inquiry that is the hallmark of our liberal arts education, the structured freedom that requires students to dig deeply, whether in the social sciences, the humanities, philosophy, literature, the performing arts. It produces habits of curiosity and creativity, and the unrelenting tendency to critically interrogate assumptions, facts, and surface appearances. Work that can in turn help identify solutions, smart, responsible solutions to pressing societal problems. Alex exemplifies all this and more. He embodies our aspirations for all liberal arts students and alumni in terms of the positive impact they are able to have in the world. Alex, we couldn't be more thrilled to honor you with UNH's Social Innovator of the Year Award for your impactful work, past, present, and what we know you will continue to do so well in the future. Please join Fiona and me on stage.
Over to you.
Okay. Well, I see the slides on my computer, but not up there. There we go. Wow. All right. I don't know how to follow that. Thank you. This is a huge honor. Thank you to everyone at the Sustainability Institute, Fiona, Faina, Jen, Jade, everyone at UNH who's been a part of supporting this work. Thank you to my team. They are not up there. Let's go back one. My team got cut from the slides. That's fine. Thank you to my team. The first slide was supposed to be a picture of them. And also everyone who's worked with Plan and for Plan over the last 10 years. Let's move that down here. Thank you to all of our supporters, all the people who believed in us, all the people who've supported us over the last 10 years. A lot of you are in the room. It's really lovely to see all of you. Thank you for coming. It means a lot to me. And thank you to the students who have been so instrumental to this work. Our mission as an organization is to equip students with the tools and resources to make change happen on their campuses. And I really wanted this award and this whole experience to be about the students. The students are the ones who drive this work. The students are the ones who are investing in their leadership. The students are the ones who are making change happen on their campuses. So I'm going to do as quick of a 10 minutes as I possibly can here. And then I want to bring up some students, and I want to share the stage and let you hear from them and let them share their stories of what they've learned doing this kind of work and what the experiences have been like. So here we go, really quick, 10 minutes. As you all know, this backstory, let's try this. Do I need to press a button? It's on, all right. This is a picture I took at UNH 12 years ago. I was frustrated seeing dumpsters overflow with usable stuff. This is an issue that exists on college campuses all over the country. There are 4,000 colleges. There are 17 million students every year. So we wanted to create a solution for this, not only for UNH, but nationwide. A small group of students came together to create this program. And yeah, that's a picture of me in the far left with a lot of hair. A bunch of us kind of came together to put this whole thing together. We set up drop-off locations. We collected stuff that students discarded. We stored everything over the summer. We held a yard sale during move-in weekend. We created the first student-led, self-sustaining program of its kind in the country. That was a model that we could share with other campuses. In our first year as an organization, we grew this program. Just noting that some of these slides are now out of order, that's fine. Okay, we grew this program to 9 campuses nationally. That was our first year. Our second year, we grew the program to 40 campuses. And so it was very interesting for us to sort of go through the first couple of years to sort of figure this piece out. One thing that I do want to say about sort of the growth and the trajectory of sort of a startup phase is, have you all ever seen the image that I wish was up here but is not, where it's like you, success, one line, and then it's like you, success, what it actually is, and it's like a giant squiggly line. Have you all ever seen that? Pretend it's up there. that was definitely our experience. We had a lot of sort of fail forward moments, a lot of like testing things out that didn't work. For example, when we first set out to raise the money that we needed to run the organization, we tried to raise $50,000. We raised 18% of it. We could have just walked away. We were definitely stressed, and it was a struggle in the beginning. We had a lot of ideas that didn't work out, and we sort of just kept trying. So to those of you that are in this sort of startup space, I would say be nimble, be willing to fail, try everything, don't give up, and network. Like, network so much. Like, so many of you that are in this room that I've known you now for 10 or more years, we've built relationships over time because, like, we've gotten coffee, we've gotten to know each other, I've gotten to know, like, the information you know, the tools you can share, the resources and connections you can share with me. Thank you so much for that, but also plan would not be possible without us sort of building that network over and over again. So for those of you that are students, like, talk to your professors, get to know people, meet people, like, learn about what they do. That is crucial. We eventually started winning awards. We sort of gained some notoriety. We had the success of the campuses under our belt, and so we started to grow nationally. We had the program move to the Whittemore Center, the largest event space at UNH, and kept growing on other campuses we were working with. What this eventually led to was, as an organization, we were sort of playing around with, how do we expand beyond just the Move Out program? So 2 years in, we developed what we refer to as our theory of change. We call this the points of intervention theory. I know this image looks complicated, but it is pretty simple. The linear consumption economy, the way that we make all goods and products, the chairs you're sitting in, the clothes you're wearing, the food you're eating, is made through the red in this image. We extract resources, we produce products, we distribute them, we consume them, we dispose of them. This is linear. It's a very unsustainable and unjust system in a million different ways. And the blue is all of the disparate movements and people all around the community and the world who are peeling back the layers of that broken system in one way or another. Whether they are resisting extraction or working in the boardroom to redesign products and packaging, or working on renewable energy, or working on composting, or working on organic farming, or repair programs, or whatever, people can be involved in all different types of solutions. So what we do as an organization, what our theory of change is to help students find the points of intervention. Like, how do you mix together your skill set and your passion to find, like, the niche that you're able to have an impact with, and to not have the anxiety of the expectation that you actually belong in all of these places all at once, because you can't be, right? No one can do everything. Everyone can do something. We're all sort of working together on this. So that goes to say, we started growing our team. We hired interns over the summer, student interns, to sort of build out our programming, and they came from different campuses. Many of them led programs on their campuses, like how we had led this Trash to Treasure model, and we started developing other models. How do we help campuses start compost programs? How do we help them start thrift stores? How do we help them recycle broken electronics? How do we help them eliminate disposable plastics? That turned into our membership model. So we signed campuses up as members. Everyone on campus has access to our resources. We do a lot of leadership training, program development guidance, etc. We started growing our events. Our first conference was at the University of New Hampshire. Our second and third conferences were in this room. After that, 4, 5, 6, and beyond, we moved it to Philadelphia, and it just kept growing. We started to travel nationally as we built a national, momentum of campuses. Started doing a lot of talks on campuses, a lot of workshops, a lot of panels, spent a lot of days on the road. After that, we got picked up by Patagonia. Patagonia hired us to do a 22 college campus nationwide tour. Spent basically 3 months on the road with them. And we also started to move into looking at campuses in terms of system change. So we started getting campuses to commit institutionally at the presidential level to eliminating single-use disposable plastics. And so this is the picture I wanted to be earlier. That's my team. We have worked with, in 10 years, over 1,000 colleges and universities. We have 19 colleges that have signed the pledge to eliminate single-use disposable plastics. We have 500 member campuses. We have 9,000 students that have gone through our leadership training programs, and we've had over 50,000 students attend our events in the last 10 years. So it's been a wild ride. That's sort of the summary of Plan in 10 years. For me, personally, about 4 or 5 years ago, we started having internal organizational conversations about diversity, equity, and inclusion within the organization. We were looking at sort of impacts of environmental justice and social justice and the work that we do in regards to zero waste. And we released a 12-page mandate for diversity, equity, and inclusion that's available on our website. You can check that out. I personally have been deeply passionate, and so part of the reason why we started this work in the first place, to answer this question of why are college campuses setting goals of achieving zero waste but not meeting them? So back in 2017, we had all these campuses that we were tracking, 30 campuses that had goals of zero waste by 2020, and we were saying they're probably not going to meet those goals. So picked 9 of those campuses, and we did a deep dive research with them, try to understand what's happening. Why are campuses not on track to reach zero waste? We want campuses to reach zero waste. What that led to was a development of a program which we call the Atlas Zero Waste Certification. And these are too detailed, I'm not going to go into those. This is the Atlas Zero Waste Certification. As we went through this sort of staff transition, I stepped down from leadership of executive directorship, and I stepped into a role as director of the Atlas program. It gives me the opportunity to continue to do sort of looking at small-scale programs and building them to scale. I was able to bring plan to scale, and then I was able to step away, create space for leadership within the organization, while also focusing in on the area that I'm most passionate about and figure out how to bring that part of this project to scale. So now we certify college campuses, we do these detailed assessments, and we do a top 10 ranking for campuses in terms of their approach to zero waste. And the final thing here is the whole thing is focused on students. So what I now run through Plan is a 3-stage student fellowship program. It's a 2-year-long program, and the students that I work with are trained on how to conduct holistic assessments, essentially how to be a consultant, how to work with their universities to navigate institutional bureaucracy, how to facilitate and negotiate solutions, and how to work towards the development of strategic visions and action plans to achieve zero waste. So, with all of that said, at UNH, we've had this incredible opportunity, if you guys want to start coming up. We've had this incredible opportunity to work with UNH as a trusted partner in this work in the last 10 years. We have been working with T2T. UNH is a member campus, and so we advise the T2T program and have done so for the last 10 years since Plan started. When we started to build out Atlas, we tested Atlas at UNH 4 years ago, and that was done by Luke, who we'll hear from in a minute. And we have also now tested stage 1 again, another assessment, once the program was in place. And then this past semester, we've been working on the second stage of this 3-stage program with 2 of the folks that are up here as well. I wanted to hear from them about their experiences navigating trash to treasure, navigating institutional bureaucracy, having these conversations. So we're gonna pass to them. So we're gonna transition this to a panel and have them introduce themselves and tell you about the work that they've done. And yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so I think we're going in order of your work with Plan, right? So.
Hello. Oh, it's on.
Are you first?
I think so.
All right, do it.
So hello everybody, my name is Luke Doverspike. I graduated in 2020 with a dual degree in sustainability and marketing. And in 2018, I had the absolute pleasure of working with Alex in piloting the Atlas project here at UNH in order to try to create a zero waste UNH. So it's pretty cool to see that, you know, as of today, it's still in the works and making some great progress. So I'm super excited to be here and chat with you all. So thank you.
I think I'm next. My name is Phoebe Adami. I am currently a senior here at UNH, studying environmental science, dual sustainability major. I started work with Alex in Plan and Trash to Treasure, 2019, 2020. COVID happened. So right around there, working as a trash to treasure coordinator for 2 years, and currently I am working on stage 2 of Atlas. So yeah, and I'll hand it over.
Hi everyone, my name is George Anderson. I graduated in 2022 from the University of New Hampshire with a degree in environmental science. And my involvement with Post-Landfill Action Network was completing stage 1 of the Atlas assessment prior to this semester.
What do you do now?
Oh, and I'm also the sustainability coordinator at Endicott College following my graduation.
My name is Chloe Gross. I am a junior environmental conservation and sustainability major, 24. I started as a general zero waste intern with the Sustainability Institute. And then I transitioned to being the student coordinator of Trash to Treasure. And now, in addition to Trash to Treasure, I am also a sustainable office intern.
Hi, I'm Emily Abrisi. I'm a sophomore in environmental conservation and sustainability. This is my first year as an intern for the SI. Last year, I was a changemaker fellow and then an SVIC participant. But I am a zero waste intern this year as well as an Atlas fellow, so I'm really excited to be working with the Sustainability Institute.
Sweet. Well, now you guys are just going to watch me check my email. No, I'm just kidding. I have the notes for our discussion.
He does this all the time, by the way, guys.
I don't use paper. I'm just kidding. All right, my question to you all to kick us off is, what is your definition of being a change maker? And Chloe, do you want to go first?
So my definition of being a change maker is doing what you can with what you've got. So all we can do is our best, but we can do our best. And we, as students especially, have the resources available to be able to do some pretty awesome things. So if we do our best with the resources we've got, that can lead to some pretty cool stuff.
You want to go there?
Why are you looking at me? I would say the definition of a change maker in my mind is just do everything Alex is doing, but better. No, I'm just kidding. I would say it's choosing to take the road that's difficult, that's uncommon, and then, choosing not to be discouraged when it becomes, just like as Alex was saying, it's not linear, right? I think a lot of the times the path is not even clear, but it's choosing to stay open and diligent of the things that are happening in the world, the societal issues that we face, but then also, again, choosing not to be discouraged about those things and not feel, sometimes like paralyzed or over encumbered by those challenges, but choosing to take action on those things, right? And then when things get difficult, like as I'm sure Alex has faced in his young startup days, like I'm sure many of you will when you go on to do great things post-graduation and you decide to be change makers, but just choosing to continue to do the work because it's what your heart and soul tells you to do and because you know it's the right thing to do ultimately. So that's how I would define a change maker in my eyes. So.
To me, being a change maker is utilizing your unique skill set, your unique personality, and your unique experience to use it as a force for good. It's so easy to kind of define success and look at what everyone else is doing and kind of feel like you need to fit in that mold, but really finding something you're passionate about and seeing what you're good at and tailoring that for positive change, to me, that's what makes a change maker.
I just want to echo all that. I can't really say it better. I think I'll talk about a little bit about the process of being a change maker. It's a learning process. You might fail, you might have great successes, and it can be that spiral of all that to be successful. So you got to learn what works best with you, what works best with your story and your history, and what works best with your passion. Not everyone can do what you said. And forget exactly the words, but. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something, right? Okay. So that'll come with some failure in learning which path is best for you.
Yeah, so I would kind of echo all of that as well, and to say that being a change maker is putting something into action that can create impact. And that can be anything small or large, something as simple as inspiring another student, or even complex as creating an entire sustainable business plan. Just any kind of action, small or large, that you're doing with the potential to make a change in the environment around you and create something different in this place that you're in.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Those are all great answers. I'm going to throw a hard one at you. We all know the world's messed up. Like, things are not going well, right? They're going okay. But, there's some bad stuff happening. Why are you hopeful? What inspires you?
I can kick us off for this one. My work as Trash Treasure Coordinator, like I mentioned, it was during the pandemic, so I had to run the program throughout the pandemic, and I was really, nervous about if it would happen, if the sale would even, happen, and it ended up being so much more than we could have hoped for, and we surpassed our goals of income for that to fund the next year's program. And so that process and, speaking with stakeholders around UNH and just hearing them, yes, it's going to be hard, but we can do it. Tell us what you need. Here's what you need to know. And just being able to hold an in-person sale during COVID pandemic with all the safety things means that, even though we can be distracted in our community with one huge thing, doesn't mean sustainability has to fall through, and especially zero waste. So just the Trash to Treasure happening at all was really just giving me momentum for really the rest of my career.
It's hard to follow that up. I would say this is going to sound like so cheesy and cliche, but you all inspire me. Just the fact that all of you are here today, you're showing interest in this kind of work. The fact that some of you have, managed to win awards, that you're choosing to engage in this kind of work in this sector, it means a lot, and I think back to my time at UNH as well, when I was in your shoes, and I surrounded myself with people who were really fired up about this kind of work, who are really smart, like people who are way smarter than me, right? And when you surround yourself with those kind of folks, it can get really inspiring. So just seeing all of you here, who are passionate, who are young, who are excited to get into the field to start doing the work, that to me brings me a lot of hope and inspiration, especially hearing success stories, for example, I know I keep picking on you, but it's hard not to, like what Alex is doing, so one of the many success stories, again, I'm sure all of you will accomplish at some point in your young careers. So
I could piggyback off Luke on that one. I think that what inspires me and gives me some hope is seeing students on campus, treat the campus like a living lab, treating it as true experiential learning, and making positive differences, positive change within the small ecosystem that is the University of New Hampshire, and then taking those skills and bringing them into the real world. I know that I couldn't be in the position I'm in today had I not participated in those programs and, kind of treated this campus as almost like a sandbox for positive change, and then bring that positive change into the quote unquote real world with me. So it's inspiring to see that kind of continue on.
Building off of that as well, I think what gives me hope is that our generation is very much around making change and being very passionate and breaking the status quo that we've seen for so long. And we can see that in our education here with programs and mentors like Ian Grant who inspire us to think outside of the box and to make change and ideas in not only our education, but in our regular everyday lives.
I think they pretty much said it all, but we have hope, right? That's why we're here. So if we can have hope, then we can build each other up, right? If we just make a positive spiral, then what else can we do, right? And we're the future, so we get to keep going.
Can I add one more thing?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah, go for it.
Thanks. Also, I want to talk about also the staff too, and some really important mentors I've had, like Fiona, seeing the work that you continue to do here and to stay so passionate year after year to provide that guidance and mentorship to students, giving, me the opportunity to even be able to, I wouldn't even be on stage right now if it wasn't for you two. So, and for Alex as well, so all of you have played a huge role for me in my career development. And, that brings me a lot of inspiration too. For I think we all can relate to that as being students at UNH currently or at one point or another. So, yeah.
Thank you all of you. If this isn't clear between me and Luke, his summer internship experience was basically like a summer of a never-ending prank war. So it didn't stop after the summer ended either, including the fact that all of them are wearing flannels as a...
Have to match your classic look.
Yeah. I think I've been pranked for this event. Anyway, final question so we can get you guys off stage. It's been a joy working with all of you. I super appreciate, like, I love that I get to do this job, and I love like working with you all, seeing you grow throughout your experiences, seeing like what you learn and like your confidence levels increase and all this. What I want to wrap up with is our last question. Why is it important for students to be involved in this work? From your perspective, why is it important for students? And as a follow-up to that, what is the power of having students involved in these spaces? What power do students have in navigating these conversations on campuses?
I can start off with that one. So as somebody who now works with students, and which is a very strange experience, having been on the opposite end of that just last year, it's really important to get students involved with sustainability work in general because A, it's empowering for them. It gives you the confidence and the tools you need to succeed in the quote unquote real world. And again, bring that positive change into the real world, like I said before. But also it just increases the operational sustainability goals of the institution itself. So a lot of the work that, brought UNH to be a STARS Platinum institution, a super sustainable, forward-thinking institution, is done by the students. It's brought to you by the power of the students. So not only is it important for advancing just this small community, but the community at large. So.
I guess I will go next. Can you remind me of the question?
Yeah, why is it important for students to be involved in this work? And what is the power of having students in these spaces?
Yes. So we still have hope, right? And we have new perspectives. If you're working in a system for a while, it can get really like bogged down in like what's going on and how things are really difficult. But if you're just starting to get in that system, and if you're coming from a different perspective, you have a different perspective. And so you can see things in a separate light. So we might be able to see that, oh, there's a gap here. We can work that gap. We can figure something out. So we simultaneously have new perspectives and energy and hope. So that's really cool.
Speaking as a student in this work right now, this opportunity gave me the chance to really experience what it's like to work in sustainability and what a future job would look like for me. And that can be really hard for a lot of students going into this, sustainability work when there aren't many jobs from the past 20, 30 years that really are around sustainability. And so you don't always know what kind of work you are going into. So this experience gave me the responsibility of facilitating meetings and the confidence to speak one-on-one with stakeholders that I would not have gotten otherwise. And I'm really grateful for that. And I think all students should be able to take part in opportunities like these and really utilize what these programs have to offer.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is going to also sound like kind of cliche, but you guys are in such a rarity. Like, there's never another time in your life where you're going to be in this ecosystem where you have such adequate resources, opportunity for connections, for mentorship, and additionally, on top of that, like, you're all surrounded by your peers, by people who are, your age or around your age, people who possess the same or similar interests that you do. And on top of that, like, you're all like super fired up and super excited about this kind of work. You'll never have that again. So I guess that to me is like what the power of, or is what's so powerful about why students should get into this kind of work, because you have access to so much, when you combine all those things together, magic can happen. You can create businesses, you can start a nonprofit, you can develop socially innovative ideas. It really is important to take advantage of those things. And that, for me, is like the most powerful powerful reason why students should continue to get involved. So I wish I took more advantage of the resources here. I think we're all guilty of that, though.
I'll finish this off, but as a senior, I'm definitely like, oh, I should have done this and this and this. So I definitely agree with that. But I think the power that we have as students is to, hold universities accountable for what we want them to do. Students, as we're paying tuition, we're here, we're what, part of the reason why, the university is here, pretty big part. And so me personally, and a lot of us as students here, we agree that we want a society that is sustainable in all the different definitions of sustainability. So we have that responsibility to hold our universities accountable for the society that we want to live in. Universities are like a small little community, kind of like tester society almost. They're almost a little society. So if we make this society sustainable, we can then go and bring those resources, that culture of sustainability and zero waste, specifically for us up here, into that society. So we need to hold universities accountable for that and say, we want this. And so I'm putting that onto the university to listen to us students, that we want to see change in our society, and that starts at the universities. Yep.